Today's Bible story is about a man who went to a parade, but he couldn't see above the crowd. The main attraction in this parade was Jesus. He had become quite famous because he had performed many miracles. He had raised Lazarus from the dead and had restored sight to a blind man named Bartimaeus. So when he entered the city of Jericho, the atmosphere was very much like a circus parade. People lined the streets hoping to get a glimpse of Jesus. One of the people in the crowd was a man who was very short. He was so short that he couldn't see above all the people in the crowd. But he really wanted to see Jesus, so he climbed a tree and waited for Jesus to pass by. Let's read about this in the Bible, in the book of Luke, chapter 19, verses 1 through 10. Jesus was going through the city of Jericho. In Jericho, there was a man named Zacchaeus. He was a wealthy, very important tax collector. He wanted to see who Jesus was, but he was too short to see above the crowd. He ran ahead to a place where he knew Jesus would come. He climbed a sycamore tree so he could see Jesus. When Jesus came to that place, he looked up and saw Zacchaeus in the tree. He said to him, "Zacchaeus, hurry and come down. I must stay at your house today." Zacchaeus came down quickly. He was pleased to have Jesus in his house. All the people saw this and began to complain. "Look at the kind of man Jesus stays with. Zacchaeus is a sinner." But Zacchaeus said to the Lord, "I will give half of my money to the poor. If I have cheated anyone, I will pay that person back 4 times more." Jesus said, "Salvation has come to this house today. This man truly belongs to the family of Abraham. The Son of Man came to find lost people and save them." So as Jesus traveled through the streets of Jericho, he came to the place where Zacchaeus sat up in a tree. Jesus stopped, looked up at Zacchaeus, and he said,
"Zacchaeus, come down at once. Today I must stay at your house."
How did he know Zacchaeus' name? They'd never met. Did he know what kind of man Zacchaeus was? Probably. But the people in the crowd were shocked. They didn't think Jesus should be hanging around a man like Zacchaeus at all, because Zacchaeus was one of the most hated men in all of Jericho. Why? Because he was a little man with a big problem. See, he was what we call a chief tax collector. So what he would do is collect money from the people who were all poor and give it to the government to help the government. But what he would do is he'd look at his little ledger and go, "Let's see, Mr. Smith owes the government $2. So what he would do then is say, "Mr. Smith, you owe the government $4. And Mr. Smith would give him $4, and then Zacchaeus would give 2 to the government, because that's what they expected. And he would keep 2 for himself. He was a thief. He was stealing from the people. No wonder people didn't like him. But Zacchaeus knew he had been cheating people. And when Jesus came to his house, he confessed everything. He said, "I've been a thief. I've been cheating people. I don't deserve your presence in my house. I have done all these things wrong, but I'm going to make it right. I'm going to give half of what I have away to the poor. And if I've cheated anybody, I'm going to repay them 4-fold." Because Zacchaeus was sorry for all he had done and confessed his sin, Jesus forgave him and said,
"Today salvation has come to this house."
Yes, Zacchaeus was a little man with a big problem, sin. But he met Jesus and his life was changed. That's because Jesus' grace is way bigger than any sin. So it doesn't matter if you are short or tall, rich or poor, and you certainly don't have to climb a tree to see Jesus. But when you meet him, your life will be changed, just like Zacchaeus' life was changed. So when you're out and about this week, take Jesus. And when you see a tree, think of Zacchaeus and how changed his life was. Your life can be changed too. Have a great week, kids. Peace be with you. Hi, friends. I hope you had fun watching the Zacchaeus lesson with me up in a tree. I was about 10 feet up, 12 feet maybe. It was a little scary. Glad to be in the ground again. Go get your Zacchaeus envelope. It's an envelope that looks like this, and it says Zacchaeus right across the top. And the lesson again is from Luke 19, verses 1 through 10. So in that envelope, you will find several things. You've got some brown paper, a piece of brown paper. You've got this little crowd. You've got a bunch of these pieces of paper, the tissue paper. So the first thing you're going to do is trace and cut out a hand on the paper, the brown paper. Once you've got it cut out, you're going to glue it onto your colored paper. You also want to color all of these people, Jesus, Zacchaeus, and then all of the crowd that was gathering, and cut all of them out. So I've done that already, and I put it on a paper here. So there's the hand and the crowd all colored with Jesus looking up at Zacchaeus up in the tree. And so the way you finish putting on these green crumpled papers, just take your tissue, crumple it up into little pieces, and then you just smear glue across the top of those fingers. I'll do some here, and hopefully you can see it on the video. Can you see the glue I've just smeared on there? And I'm just going to stick pieces on there. And you just keep sticking till you have as much as you want, till your tree is full. Crumple up papers and put them on there. There you go. And now I will finish filling it in. But there's the entire craft for the lesson. So it's not a real hard craft, but you could at least see Zacchaeus sitting up in the tree like I was. Maybe he wasn't afraid. I was a little nervous. As my dad always says, only climb as high as you're willing to fall. Be careful. The other thing you'll find in your package is this maze. Now, some of you younger kids may have a little trouble, might want some help, but it is possible. And I actually will send you the solution so you can see that. So here's the solution. And I'll send that as an attachment so you can see it, okay? So have a great week. If you climb any trees, think of Zacchaeus and how his life was changed. And your life can be changed too. Bye-bye.